so close and so good. We didn't think it was possible that it could be as close again.
At some point, we're not 16, yeah, we are.
The rivalry between Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev has become one of the most intense and captivating narratives in boxing today. Their two previous fights have been filled with drama, skill, and relentless action, but the story is far from over. In fact, the question on every boxing fan's mind is whether we will see a third bout between these two titans. This is no ordinary rivalry, and the stakes have only gotten higher with each fight. Let's dive into the shocking aftermath of their latest encounter, examine the implications for the future, and explore what could be one of the greatest trilogies in boxing history. The second fight between Bivol and Beterbiev was as intense and closely contested as anyone could have hoped for. From the first round to the last, both fighters gave everything they had. The fight was not just a battle of skill and power, but also a test of will, as each man pushed himself to the limit. After the fight, though, things took an unexpected turn. Despite Bivol's victory, the interaction between the two fighters post-fight left fans scratching their heads. After Bivol's win, the two fighters shared a moment of mutual respect. Bivol walked up to Beterbiev, shook his hand, and expressed his admiration for him. Bivol was candid about his respect for Beterbiev, revealing that when he first joined the national team, he looked up to Beterbiev and learned a great deal from him. Beterbiev, always stoic, acknowledged the sentiment and offered his congratulations. However, what happened next took everyone by surprise. After the post-fight interviews, Bivol approached Beterbiev once again, hoping for another handshake, only to be met with the words, "We will have a third fight." Beterbiev had refused to shake Bivol's hand a second time. This moment wasn't about arrogance or disrespect. It was simply a statement, a declaration that the saga between them wasn't finished. Bivol, slightly taken aback, couldn't help but wonder why Beterbiev, after all the respect shown, would say such a thing. But this moment only served to add fuel to the fire, and fans immediately began to speculate about a potential third fight. The rivalry was not over, and the drama surrounding their relationship was far from finished. The question now becomes, will there be a third fight? Could it be even more thrilling than the first two? And what would a trilogy between these two heavyweights mean for the sport of boxing? To understand why a trilogy would be so impactful, we need to take a closer look at the two fights that brought us to this point. The first fight between Bivol and Beterbiev was close, but it wasn't until the second encounter that things truly escalated. The second fight was filled with tactical brilliance from both sides, and it was clear from the very beginning that both fighters were giving everything they had. Bivol's boxing IQ shone through, as he relied on his slick footwork, defensive skills, and ability to control the pace of the fight. But Beterbiev, with his raw power and relentless pressure, was never far behind. As the fight progressed, it became evident that Bivol was the more technical fighter, landing clean punches and using his movement to evade Beterbiev's heavy shots. But Beterbiev's power was undeniable. There were moments in the fight where it seemed as though Bivol's advantage was slipping away, as Beterbiev's pressure began to tell. Still, Bivol remained composed and stuck to his game plan. By the end of the fight, many experts and fans alike felt that Bivol had done enough to secure the victory, but there were still questions about whether he had truly done enough to win the fight definitively. Despite the closeness of the battle, Bivol's win seemed justified in the eyes of most. However, the emotional aftermath told a different story. Both fighters showed signs of mutual respect, but there was still tension lingering in the air. Bivol, not entirely satisfied with his performance, admitted that he could have done better. He revealed that while he was pleased with the win, he knew that there were mistakes made in the ring. He felt that he could have been more precise with his punches, and perhaps used his movement even more effectively. His humility after such a big win was a testament to his character, but it also showed that he wasn't resting on his laurels. He was already looking ahead, eager to improve and learn from the experience. He believes that in a potential third fight, he would be able to come back stronger and more refined, giving himself a better chance to prove that he is the superior fighter. On the other side, Beterbiev wasn't taking the loss lightly either. Despite his disappointment, he expressed confidence that he would bounce back stronger in a potential third fight. He acknowledged that the second fight had been a better one than the first, but also emphasized that the result wasn't what he had hoped for. There was no sign of arrogance in his words, just a quiet determination to return to the gym, train harder, and come back better than ever. In his mind, the third fight was inevitable. He wasn't finished with Bivol, and he was ready to show that he could still win. This was a fighter who had tasted defeat for the first time in a long time, and his resilience was on full display. The world of boxing experts and analysts quickly weighed in on the fight, with many praising Bivol's performance and others noting how close the fight had been. Terence Crawford, the pound-for-pound king, commended Bivol for his impressive performance, noting that his superior conditioning had made a difference in the fight. Bivol, he said, had the edge because he was simply in better shape, leaving everything in the ring. Meanwhile, Teofimo Lopez, another prominent figure in boxing, believed that the fight could have gone either way, but ultimately felt that Bivol deserved the win. Lopez noted that while Beterbiev had focused more on body shots in the second fight, Bivol had done just enough to edge out the victory. Lopez agreed that a third fight would be something to look forward to, as the two fighters had put on an incredible display. Eddie Hearn, a promoter with decades of experience in the boxing world, shared his thoughts on the fight and the possibility of a trilogy. He was in awe of both fighters' performances, particularly Bivol's boxing IQ and his ability to outbox one of the most powerful fighters in the division. Hearn also pointed out that while Bivol had won the fight, it was one of the closest contests he had ever seen. The third fight, he speculated, could be the best one yet, as both fighters would have a chance to adjust and come back even stronger. Hearn's excitement for a trilogy between Bivol and Beterbiev was palpable, and it was clear that he was already looking ahead to what could be one of the greatest boxing rivalries of all time. Boxing legends like Michael Buffer and Anthony Joshua also shared their thoughts, acknowledging how thrilling the first two fights had been. Buffer, known for his iconic ring announcing, called the fight an incredible spectacle, even if the scorecards didn't reflect the action in the ring. He expressed hope that a third fight would happen, as he believed it could be even more explosive than the first two. Joshua, meanwhile, admitted that he hadn't been fully focused on the fight due to deep conversations, but still acknowledged how close the contest was. He believed that while Bivol had done enough to win, it was clear that both fighters had elite skills, and a third fight could showcase even more. As the buzz for a potential trilogy grew, the question remained, when would the third fight happen and who would emerge victorious? Fans, pundits, and experts all had their opinions, but one thing was clear, the rivalry between Bivol and Beterbiev was far from over. Each fighter had shown incredible heart, skill, and resilience, and the boxing world was eagerly awaiting the next chapter in this thrilling saga. Would Bivol continue to prove that his slick boxing and high IQ could overcome Beterbiev's power? Or would Beterbiev return with renewed focus and strength, determined to reclaim his title? The third fight would undoubtedly be a spectacle, with both fighters having more than enough motivation to prove that they are the best in the division. The drama, the emotion, and the intensity would be on full display, and fans across the world would be tuning in to see who would finally come out on top. This rivalry, with its twists and turns, has captured the imagination of boxing fans everywhere, and the third fight promises to be just as thrilling as the first two. If it happens, it could be one of the most iconic trilogies in the history of the sport. Until then, we can only wait and wonder what's next for these two warriors.